Hey guys, I'm Glitter Valkyrie, and today we're going to pull for Ascended Fjorm. This new form of Fjorm has everything. She's sparklier, her tiara is better, and she comes with a floret, so I feel like we have to get her today. So we will talk about this banner as we go along, but let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so to be quite honest, I really don't have a great plan for the colors that we're going to pull today. Fjorm is really the only one that I truly want on the banner, but I don't really want to snipe green, so we'll just see how this goes. I may have talked about this in some previous videos, but New Mystery is the only game in the Fire Emblem series that I haven't finished. I have played a couple of chapters, but I didn't finish it, so I really don't have much attachment to any of these characters. So while they look great, if I don't get them, I won't be upset. And I may pull some of the colors just for efficiency, but we'll see. And in terms of the order that I want them, Fjorm is definitely number one. But then I would probably say Malice next, and then Wolf, and then Rochelle last. And I may actually try and avoid some blues because I feel like the fodder isn't that great, and I don't have any attachment, so it's probably not worth it for me. And I'm so sorry to all those fans out there. So I know it's kind of short, but that kind of covers the banner. I don't have too much to say since I didn't finish that game. But I did want to talk about the florets that have been added to Faye, and I don't even know if I'm saying that right. But I do think it's a very interesting addition. I am pretty excited because it can make some of my older characters more OP. And I'm kind of torn at this point as to what I should do with it. Like if I should give it to my old characters that need more help, or if I should give it to my more meta-relevant characters. Oh my gosh. That is an Amelia. Oh my goodness. You know what? I've never pulled one the regular way, and the only one that I ever got was a Resplendent, so this is absolutely amazing. And she is plus speed. I am super happy with that. So we will just keep going. That was probably 4 Rocher right there, but I want to be a little bit more focused on greens. So I was talking about the florets, and I'm hoping that you guys can help me because I am so torn as to what I should do with them. Oh my goodness, we got her. Oh my gosh, I love that art so much. And we got the floret. Okay, let's check IVs. Holy smokes. That is an amazing boon for her. I am so excited to see plus speed. So we will just keep going. I probably should stop, but I feel like there's so much value in going to Spark on this banner. And if I could get a couple copies of Fjorm, I'd be super happy. So we will just keep going. But before she came home, I was saying that I was hoping that you guys could help me because I'm so torn on who I should spend these florets on. I could do it for my older units like Sarah and La Rochelle, who could use more stats just because they're closer to launch. Or I could use it on my more meta-relevant characters like my baby La Rochelle or my Halloween La Rochelle. I guess really any La Rochelle. So if you guys have an idea of what I should do, feel free to leave it in the comments because I have no clue. And I guess that's really all I wanted to talk about with the new characters and the changes in Faye. So we can probably go ahead and answer some of your questions now. And as always, if I did not get to your question, I am so sorry. I will try to answer in a future one. And if you think of a question that you want to ask me, you can just leave in the comments with #question, and I will add your question to my list. So our first question today comes from Stephen Lee, and they ask, which new Sacred Stones characters would you like to see appear in Faye? And do you have any tips for playing Sacred Stones? Okay, so it is no secret that I love Sacred Stones. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And so while I'd like to say that I want to see the whole cast in Faye, I know that's not realistic. So the ones that I want the most would be Artur and Franz. I'd love to see Gilliam and Cyrene. I'd also love to see regular Sayla. I do love his bunny version, but I really want to see him as a mage. And then a character that I don't know if we would ever actually see would be Joshua's mom, Ismare. I think that they could do something really interesting. I do love her design, and she's just yet another character that I would love to see. And then as for your second question about tips for playing Sacred Stones, I recommend that you use the best character of all time, La Rochelle. But other than that, when picking a route, I would say choose your favorite twin because you'll be spending a little bit more time with them. And I think that both routes are good, so I would just say go with your favorite and use La Rochelle. But thank you for those great questions. And the next one that we have today comes from Jerbear, and there are a couple for me. And they ask, will you be picking up the new Mario Party that releases before Halloween? What Pokemon gen is your favorite? And would you want to see a Switch sequel to Fantasy Life? Okay, so for your first question, this might be surprising, but I actually do not like Mario Party at all. I am not a fan of party games, so I will be passing on that whenever it comes out. And then for your second question about my favorite Pokemon gen, while Red and Blue really holds a special place in my heart, I'd have to say that my favorite overall is X and Y. I just loved the setting, I loved the starter Pokemon, and just overall it was such a fun, memorable experience that has to be my favorite. And as for your last question about Fantasy Life, I will take any version that they give us at this point. It was such a fun game, and I was so sad when that mobile version didn't make it to the US that I will take any... Oh! A Balthus! I am merging him up, so I'm super excited to see him. So to finish up your question, I will take any Fantasy Life that they give us, although being on the Switch would be really, really nice. But thank you for all those great questions. And the next one that we have today comes from Ghost Valkyrie, and they ask, what artistically do you like the best in Fae as a whole? So if we're talking about like my favorite artists, my favorites would be Hako and Kipu. I love Konfuzi Kokon and Amigai Taro. And I know there are so many others that I love, but those are the ones that come to mind first. But aside from just like artists that are super talented, something that I really appreciate in Fae is how they translate the art from like a regular map in Fire Emblem into a pocket-sized version in Fae. Because I feel like that would be incredibly difficult to do. And for some reason, I feel like they still retain the core principles of a map and they just make it tiny. And I don't know, I just really appreciate the way they translate all of that. And I find it really artistic. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Poco por Poco. And they ask, how do you deal emotionally with patches of bad luck that are bound to happen? Okay, so this is a very timely question because I was pulling on the Double Special Heroes banner to finish up my baby Lara shell, and I probably had the worst luck I have ever had on a banner. I hit 11%, I was pity broken multiple times, and it was just incredibly painful. And I will acknowledge that it is even more painful when you're F2P because you've worked so long for those resources, and to see them all just disappear for things that you don't want is very, very painful. I'm not F2P, but I totally understand that sentiment. But what I do when I'm having really bad luck in Fae and I'm upset about it is I try to make something good out of something bad. And that usually comes in the form of a merge project. So I take all the feathers from all those units that I don't want and I pour them into a character that I do actually like. And at the end of the day, I usually feel a little bit better. And aside from that, if I'm really, really frustrated with what's happening in a game, I'll just take a break. Because I understand how frustrating it can be, and to just kind of pause, play something else can really, really help. So that's kind of the advice that I would give if you're really frustrated. But I completely understand, and I hope you have better luck in the future. But thank you for that great question. And we get Nizama. All right, so let's pull this other colorless, and we will answer another one. And this question was asked by several different people. This comes from Royal Knight, Amon B, and Leo Altavez. And they ask, what was your opinion on the latest Nintendo Direct? I would have to say I was pretty underwhelmed, and that's really because I was expecting some sort of Fire Emblem news, and we didn't get it, so I was disappointed about that. And really the only thing that I was excited about was Project Triangle Strategy. I definitely want to pick that up when it comes out, but otherwise, the games that they featured did not interest me, so sadly, I was pretty underwhelmed. But thank you for that great question. And the next question that we have today comes from Dotstiff, and oh! Oh my goodness. I have not seen Sue in like 2 years. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's check IVs. And she is minus attack. You know, at this point, I could have had like a +7 Sue, but I fed so many copies to other characters that is not possible, but that is totally fine. And we will get back to this lucky question from Dotstiff. They ask, oh, it's Rajat. You know what? I don't think that I've ever actually pulled her before. We'll have to check. Well, I have not pulled her. Oh my goodness. And she is plus attack, so I will absolutely take that. And getting back to this question from Dotstiff, they ask, I know you've mentioned that you're a big fan of Matt Mercer. What are some of your favorite roles from him? So my favorite role of all time that he's done is Crom. He single-handedly made me love that character, but I feel like he's done that for a lot of characters in games that I've played. I feel like he did an amazing job with Shigure, also with Ryoma, but outside of Fire Emblem, I love him as Sigma. Oh my gosh, we got Brave Marth. This is an extremely lucky question, my gosh. All right, let's check IVs. And he is minus attack, but you know what? That fodder is absolutely amazing. I kind of want to give it to my Crom. But getting back to this extremely lucky question, aside from Fire Emblem roles, I love Matt Mercer's work as Sigma in the Zero Escape series. He made me love that character too. I love him as Leon in Rune Factory 4. And I also love him as Klaus in Stella Glow. I think that was a really underrated game that more people should play. But overall, he's such a talented voice actor, and I love anything that he does. But thank you for that super lucky question. And we get a Roy. Okay, so we'll pull this green, and we will answer another one. And this question comes from Leonard Ari. And they ask, do you think there will be a Halloween event for Genshin with Halloween skins, like they did with Summer for Jean and Barbara? And if so, who would you like to see skins for? So I don't think that we're going to get anything like that for Halloween, just because I do follow data mines and I haven't seen anything for that. But they really should do it because I feel like it would make a ton of money. And if we get skins of more characters in the future, my number one wish is for some form of child. He is my favorite character in the entire game. I would definitely get a skin for him, and so I really hope we see that in the future. But thank you for that great question. Okay, Smoke. And we get a Sheena. All right, let's see if we can get a Clutch Malice. Okay, Smoke. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, that another Brave unit. We got Brave Lysithea. I'm super happy to see her. Okay, let's check IVs. And she's plus attack. I'm super happy with that. So we'll go ahead and back out. And I know I should take like a different character, but I'm going to get another copy of Fjorm. I feel like that's the best choice for me. Oh gosh, I wish all banners were like this. Yay! Oh gosh, I'm so happy to see her. And we got the thing. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end things here. I am super happy with how this went with my 2 copies of Fjorm plus some other great units, and I hope that you guys were just as lucky. Again, thank you so much to everybody that submitted questions. I really, really appreciate it. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.